All right. Good morning. Happy Thursday to everybody. How's everybody doing? Okay. Looks like we're set. So my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is April 22nd, 2021. Let's go ahead and get right into it. SPY, strong day yesterday. Very significant push and trend day to the upside after a couple days of consolidation and pullback in the overall markets. We talked yesterday about a strong trending market looking to respect even more and more aggressive moving average trend indicators during times of trending activity. And we brought up a very simple 9 EMA yesterday. I've gone ahead and used a 12 in this study, and it's mostly because the alignment with the SPY correlates really well with this 12 on this particular bounce. And the reason I like this is because if we continue to trend, this is the first major reaction we've gotten on a significant pullback. So whatever EMA is fitting that bounce the best, I'm going to see if that continues to be a very clear indicator of trending strength. So while normally I would leverage the 9, I'm looking at the 12 EMA, and you can see how yesterday and Wednesday or Tuesday price action correlates really well with the 12. So we'll kind of see how this goes in the days to come, and we'll see if other markets want to respect the 12 in the same way. That's actually all I'm going to look at on the SPY. I think we've got a good sense of where we are in the markets. We know that the volume profile shows a little bit of downside risk, but overall, the strength in the market is being shown by a lot of buy the dip mentality, overall trending structure, and just simply not a lot of conviction from the bears to take us down through volume pockets or value zones, kind of, cascading down, hitting different stop loss areas in the market. So SPY remains strong. The Qs, we can see that the 12 EMA is actually a decent indicator here. It's not perfect. We did breach below and then come back above, but overall it's going to provide a better sense of direction in lieu of not being close enough to the 20 simple moving average. So we see that the Qs did respond to this aggressive 12 moving average, and we actually are in sort of a 2-day balance zone where we have Tuesday's price action and Wednesday's bounce, defining a range that the market is attempting to balance between and then ultimately break away from once we get a move in either direction. So Qs showing strength with the SPY, overall bullish across the board. And then to my surprise, IWM was actually participating in this bullish move after seeing 1 day of sell-off. So IWM, we noted structure here where we had this move, this consolidation, this attempted breakout that failed, rolled over, and then immediately got caught back up to the upside. And while the moving averages are sitting above us, acting as a temporary zone of resistance, and while we're still sitting around 220, which is our VPOC, what's interesting about the IWM is that if I just pull this down to the weekly, and I'll go ahead and just load the 20 from this perspective, you can see how well the IWM continues to respect the weekly uptrend. So in times of daily consolidation or just overall non-directionality on the daily chart, it can be advantageous to pull yourself back to the weekly or even the monthly charts to get a better sense of where we actually are, and also to look at daily lower highs, daily trend changes, or simply weekly consolidations and pullbacks. And that can just kind of give you a better sense of how far we need to come to really start to lose the uptrend or the downtrend from the higher time frame perspective. Yeah, Courtney says it best, when in doubt, zoom out. That's very true. So the SPY and the Qs, pretty clear daily, very strong uptrends. Weekly charts are far removed from any sort of pullback support and just showing how strong they are. QQQ remains the same on the weekly, but the IWM, a little bit choppier, a little bit harder to read. And overall, we're still seeing this full correlation. When the market turns itself on and gets strong, pretty much everything is lifted at the same time. And we do like to see that from the bullish perspective because it shows full participation and correlation with a lot of different asset classes. So very strong day. I think, that should be obvious. There's a lot of things that were in play yesterday when the market was going higher. Let's see. If I go to our sectors, we talked about things like healthcare. Bring this back to our daily perspective. While the market was pulling back, certain sectors like healthcare were either going higher or holding. And what's important about large sectors doing this sort of against the trend mentality is that when the market gets strong or bounces, you want to see if those sectors are breaking out or just continuing to be strong. And healthcare is a major sector of the SPY, at which time when the SPY was pulling back, healthcare was consolidating. So on market strength, healthcare decided to break even higher, and we're getting a lot of bullish participation with volume increasing to the upside. Overall, there's a sector to keep on watch. We are a bit extended at this point, and obviously some of the best buy zones have already come and gone. But as we get into this all-time high breakout, there is plenty of momentum opportunity, and then the eventual, capitulation to the upside and the pullback, which we can take advantage of once we see it. We also have things like consumer staples, not necessarily a risk-on sector, but overall a larger sector of the SPY. That was also participating to the upside during Tuesday's session in the SPY, where the SPY was pulling back. So while things like tech and consumer discretionaries were feeling some of the downside pressure, there were certain sectors that were standing out. Consumer staples was one, healthcare was one. We also talked a little bit about utilities, which did eventually hit this very clear resistance zone, which is a recent high. We are seeing a bit of a pullback there, albeit there was some earnings in NextEra Energy, and that company reacted poorly to its earnings, so that facilitates some of the pullback. But it's worth noting that this sector is at resistance. It's had a really strong push so far, and obviously a pullback at this time would be sort of normal operating procedure in the market, just a pullback from highs back to lows, back to support. So on days where the market was strong, tech was back in play. We saw that with the Qs. We saw communication come off the 20. Nice bounce here, and also interesting participation in stocks like Viacom and Discovery Channel, which we know have had sort of negative press and downside action due to some of the hedge fund activity that's been in the news. Those two in particular started to wake up to the bullish side for the first time in a while. And with stocks like Facebook and Google, the main names in communication, if we get all groups in that sector waking up and going bullish, that's obviously a sector to watch, as the beaten down stocks have a lot of upside potential, and the strong stocks are simply strong stocks getting stronger. So it's sort of two different bullish theses, but from different points on the chart. Let's see, discretionaries, strong recovery. I think this is mostly due to Tesla's activity yesterday, but there was some participation in stocks like Amazon. And finally, some of our, I would say, reflationary or economic growth-based sectors, things like industrials, right off of the 20, nice bounce and nice support. Financials, right off the 20, nice bounce, nice support. A lot of engulfing structures as well. Keep that in mind. Most of the selling that occurred on Tuesday has been engulfed by Wednesday's price action. And probably the odd person out, which I must have deleted it, is energy. We did get a bounce, but this is at a zone that is more structurally weak than some of the other trending sectors. So this bounce looks more like a just full court correlation where everything is going up at the same time. Energy definitely has some proving to do to the upside. And for this case, I'd be looking more closely at the weekly, as we are coming into the 20 moving average. We want to see how that reaction occurs, especially if the market gives us a little bit deeper of a pullback. Energy could facilitate a little bit more downside and then, continue the trend higher. When it comes to some of our laggard sectors, I see there's an interest in things like biotech. And this is one that we've been bringing up in multiple sessions. We've seen some strong reactions around this 126 level. And the reason it's important is because in the past, we've had a strong reaction to that level with the market pulling away from it before continuing higher. So as XBI, in this case is what I'm using for biotech, we've had 1, 2, and 3 reactions here and no follow through to the downside. We've also been tightening our range, and we're starting to look at this retracement to the downside, which did break bullish yesterday. Now, was that due to IWM bouncing, or is this the start of a larger move? I think overall, if you're looking at risk to reward, there's definitely some good opportunity here. But we need to obviously define our risk with the notable support zone, a place that we do not want to lose, because the downside could be to the next level, which is going to be here, and that's about 121. So depending on how you want to set up trades, you can be looking at this as sort of a oversold area, multiple support tests, and then a bounce. Now, how high can we go? Obviously, we want to look to resistance zones, about 138, 139. That'll be our first spot to confirm. And then ultimately, if we break through that, we can start to look at changing the overall trend and structure of this ETF. So those are some of our main sectors that we like to always be reviewing, making sure that if the market is doing something, which sectors are participating. And the analysis from yesterday is that most sectors did go higher. So most sectors were participating, and it showed how strong the push was yesterday to the upside. Some other interesting spots to keep on watch, similar to XBI, been keeping a watch on TAN. Tan's going to be my ETF that I'm using for more of a solar sector overview, more of an industry overview. And similar to XBI, we've been putting in multiple tests of this level, where we have 1, 2, and then yesterday was our third. We did get a reaction off of that. At this point, it is still a laggard sector. It is a weak sector overall, with markets at all-time highs and this sector barely trying to get off the ground. But there is some opportunity here, just like biotech. If this were to become back in play, you have a very clear risk level and you have a very high reward opportunity if the trend were to change. Obviously, the market being strong, we'd want to continue seeing it strong. And then this sector could ultimately perform along with a lot of our major sectors that we've looked at already. And that level's coming from a clear reaction in the past where price moved higher and then moved away before breaking, finding support, and then, shooting straight up to the upside pretty much. Let's see. Still looking at certain beaten down sectors as outside of solar. American MJ sector, so cannabis. MSOS would be the ETF of choice for myself. Definitely at a potential support zone. We're not seeing the trigger necessarily for the move to the upside, but there is that opportunity cost. I'd say somewhere around here, we're looking for this retracement to break bullish. Same idea with MJ, more of the Canadian ETF for MJ. Just want to showcase structure here. We're still within that, bearish pattern, but we are trying to test some of the upside resistance, and obviously a move above, a pullback that can easily define your risk. We also have this clear bounce point around 1950. So some other sectors that we want to see in play, especially if tech is going to become a leader in the weeks to come. We want to look at semiconductors, a big component of the QQQ and just of tech in general. Semiconductors showing that similar bounce type pattern where we did see a pullback both to the 20 and the 50 on the daily. The 50 coming in to hold as support, and we are seeing a reaction here. Notably, not only did we react off of the 50, but we closed above the 20. So that shows, the type of reaction and how strong it was in the course of one session. Those are always good notes to keep in mind, is not only where did you react, but where did that reaction take you? And if both of them are showing a lot of opportunity, you're kind of looking for the next pullback to maybe get in and define your risk for, potentially more upside. Keep in mind as well, semiconductors are not at all-time highs. So there is a little bit of range resistance above us. But once again, just like with the Qs, semiconductors could be a spot to focus if tech were to become sort of in play along with the Qs as being the leader index. Let's see. And then finally, let's go through some of the futures real quick. We talked about platinum in this tight consolidation range. So platinum is going to be /PL. The only decent stock that I found to maybe consider for a trade opportunity was PLG. I did post it in the chat and on YouTube yesterday, as I forgot to mention it during the session. PLG is seeing a breakout based on yesterday's strength. Once again, above the 50, above the 20, and coming through this resistance zone. So if you're looking at this as a confirmation signal, this could be an opportunity for platinum to trade higher, potentially to retest this recent high. And then obviously you'd want to look back at this chart this isn't necessarily the best fundamental company to consider for long-term holds, but as a trade idea, there is structure here for a bullish breakout. We looked at lumber pulling back, seeing a little bit of upside move. I would say keep this one on watch as stocks like LL, Lumber Liquidators, HD, showing signs of maybe a little bit of topping action, and low are not necessarily all performing as strongly as the overall market. So as lumber has hit potentially a parabolic top, there may be still some downside opportunity in these stocks as lumber does pull back. So ultimately, keep these on watch. We haven't quite seen the flush to the downside, but these stocks are not necessarily participating in the upside momentum that we saw yesterday. So it shows a little bit of relative weakness. And finally, this one's kind of interesting. If you look at stuff like corn and soybeans, which I always forget, yeah, ZS. You look at stuff like corn and soybeans, these have had recent all-time high breakouts. I can pull this back to our max chart. Actually, I'm sorry, soybean is not all-time high. Apologies. So let's look at the weekly. So we'll mark off where we are coming from. Extend this out to see why that acted as resistance. Just looks like a little bit of chop and then a breakout. So soybeans, very strong. Corn, also very strong. Let me pull recent reactions here, and then a little bit of top side before finally breaking out. I'm going to just mark this for now. Come back to the weekly, extend it out higher, and just kind of show where we are in the chart. So corn and soybean, not necessarily something that we watch day to day, but these commodities have been trading very, very strong and continue to show upside amidst a lot of market volatility in the past couple of weeks. Markets were selling, these were basically holding in a tight range. Some stocks maybe to consider. I was looking at just corn, ticker CORN. That one's kind of easy to remember. And then I would be looking at maybe some agricultural-based stocks, ones that have exposure to multiple of these products at one time. If all markets are strong, those stocks may see sort of just a general bullish fundamental thesis as the price continues to go higher. So, and then Courtney is mentioning cattle in the chat. Courtney, do you know if there is a futures product for cattle that I could type in? Don't think I have that one on my chart. Let's see if I can look it up in this short time frame, as I don't really have too much left to consider. That's okay. Looking to see future ticker. Normally I would have all this prepared, but I have not looked at cattle in quite a while. Let's see. Seeing stuff like LE. Yeah, let's see if that comes up. All right, interesting. So cattle, definitely not one that I'm familiar with. It does look as if the market broke this down through support on yesterday's strength. Once again, very interesting. We're seeing certain areas of the market be relatively strong, and then we're seeing areas be relatively weak. So the opportunity there is always about playing the relative strength names in the direction of the trend, and then looking for relative weakness. If the market were to turn, we'd expect those to continue to be weak. So basically we have opportunity both ways. Cattle may be something to look at as well. I obviously don't know any stocks offhand for cattle, but I will keep this future on watch. And we've talked a little bit about gold and silver. Basically, the thesis remains here. We have a very nice structural range to the downside on gold. We've broken through that range, and we're seeing just a continual grind on gold to the upside so far. Things that you want to remember: if you're seeing the miners be strong on days where the market is weak, it's showing that the metals in general are outperforming, and miners will typically outperform the metal itself, but miners like to have a strong equity market, a weak dollar, and obviously a strong metal market that they're against. So GDX, GDXJ, one that I know some people in the chat like to trade both intraday and swing, PAAS, Pan American Silver. You can look at stuff like SILJ, a little bit less volume, more of an ETF overview, but we're seeing the push to the upside. So there's definitely a lot to like in the metals markets. And even if we just look at, if we look at something like the SPY metals ETF, this saw participation yesterday with the bullish push. So once again, a lot of things participating at the same time. Even real estate, which was kind of an interesting sector that's been just kind of grinding higher over time. We pull it back to the weekly. We see that real estate's actually in a zone where it should be acting as resistance, and we haven't seen a pullback yet. So potential for real estate to break out, I would say it's a bit extended, may sort of fail on the first attempt, come back to support, and then once again form that sort of cup and handle structure if the market continues to be strong. So, you know, overall, I'm really just seeing a lot of things push to the upside as of yesterday's session. The key things to remember is that laggard sectors started to wake up. So there's a lot of participation. EV, things like NEO, nice breakout of this pennant. We've been watching this one for a while. This could be the trigger that leads to some momentum. We have Tesla, strong push yesterday coming into earnings. So be careful with that one. But obviously there's a bit of a run up into earnings that is trying to occur. We talked about TAN and we talked about biotech started waking up from those support zones, getting off the ground just a little bit. And then everything that was strong remains strong. Tech is still in play. Semiconductors finally saw a nice bounce. Discretionaries with Tesla, financials. I don't think we looked at that one actually. Financials off the 20, industrials off the 20. You know, it's the thesis remains the same. We are in a bullish market. We're in a bullish uptrend. And even when there are some short-term bearish setups, they appear to continuously be bought in the short term. So want to keep that in mind. We don't want to fight things too much to the downside. We're just looking for those shallow pullbacks for the most part. And that's why we're starting to lean more on exponential moving averages if this market were to continue to trend higher. That may provide a better gauge as to how strong the trend is. And the first loss of that EMA will be looking more towards the 20 on the SPY and the Qs. So with that said, obviously, you know, remain diligent. There's some opportunity starting to wake itself up off the ground. Be looking to put on trade ideas based around your risk tolerance and where you want to define your stops. But keep in mind that this market can continue to go higher off of some of this dynamic support, and we'll see just how far that can go before something does ultimately change. And could be today, could be next week. We just haven't seen any follow through from the bears as of yet. So with that said, I'm Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Y'all take it easy. Y'all trade safe. And we'll chat a little bit more tomorrow, see where this market takes us today.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. All right, guys. Let's get to it. Let's review what we had yesterday on our list. But before we do that, guys, big thumbs up for Jared and all the information he's providing every single morning. So let's make sure you slam that thumbs up button. As we always mention, it does mean a lot to us. So we truly, truly appreciate it. All right, excellent, guys. Let's get to it. Yesterday, we had a pretty interesting day. I mean, there was a lot going on that looked pretty decent and actually turned out very good. Let's start with our watch list here. We have WBT, which was incredible, guys. Straight out of the gates, this thing just took off with a lot of strength. Had a great pre-market activity, but at the market open, volume really came in, and you see this beautiful pop hitting a lot of these levels that we had on the daily. So again, that was real nice to see, and it never really turned back. It did a couple of pullbacks to the 9 and the 20. Never really lost the 20. This thing was really strong. Here, I thought it was actually going to lose it. But again, it bounced right off the 20, and I went straight for the high of the day yesterday. So again, that was pretty nice if you had a move in here. Around this area, it did kind of lose some momentum. You can see how choppy it is. So it's very difficult to get in this trade and hold for some of these pullbacks. But if you're able to get a good entry off this level 2098 or 21 to be exact, you had a good risk to reward and a nice bounce there. OCGN, rough start at the open. You can see here it was kind of indecisive on what it wanted to do, up and down, just every candle overlapping the previous candle. Eventually, it does sells down real nice here below the VWAP. This became a beautiful short. A lot of you guys took this trade yesterday, so congrats there. That was a very, very nice opportunity there. Next, we had BNGO. BNGO, this one, it looks good now, looking in from afar, but again, the price action was just not clean. So I didn't really pay much attention to this one. Compared to everything else we had a lot of stocks that were moving very well. FSR, I mean, this thing here, just incredible. A little bit of a rough start. It didn't start very well. It was very indecisive here. And the volume, the price action wasn't great. Although we had some volume in it, it just wasn't moving well. We talk about this order flow, and this one didn't have a good one. Later, around 11:30 noon, it just decides to take off. And although it takes off here, it looks great in the charts. it was still not an easy trade to take. Here, I was looking at it here for a possible collapse. Thank God I did not take this trade because look at this. It just squeezes, and this happened really fast, guys. Squeezes right to the high of the day and then never looks back. So I'm so glad I didn't take that trade off that level there. And it was really, really strong. And Norm, I know you took this, as you mentioned in our internal chat,
I
for a
picked up
long.
some. Well, yeah, well, it was a longer term. It was a swing trade, and I was in there in the low 13s. So I actually I mentioned it because it's been a long time since I've taken something that was meant for a longer term and it ran 20% in a day. So I took a
Mhm.
little bit off of it
Oh yeah.
anyway. And then this morning, Goldman tried to, as Andrew would say, put me in cardboard with their downgrade on that. So I went ahead and bailed. I made a few bucks on it. I
Yeah.
might get back in. We'll see how it does. It was a good setup on the charts. I was a little concerned about it that it ran so far so fast, but
Hmm.
it worked so far. Made a
Yeah,
few
no,
bucks. Can't
it was
complain.
I don't blame you for taking something off. I mean, this thing ran a couple of $2 when you get in. It's tempting to stay in a trade like that and not take some off. So nicely done there. All right, so what else we had? We had Oxy as well. Oxy also had a big day yesterday. Again, their pre-market was not too exciting, but out of the gates, guys, look at this. Just took off here very nice. Gave you a very nice continuation play. I saw a couple of strategies you could have taken here. This one also taken off. So again, pretty good stuff there. Apple was, it's hit or miss on Apple. It got better later at 11:30, 11 o'clock. You can see the nice run up here, breaking from some of the levels it was struggling with early in the morning. But nothing like the other ones we saw right out of the gates. These just took off real nice. I had Mara as a secondary, and that one also took off pretty nice here. Gave it a little bit of struggle, but it did give you a couple of pops here. And Jared called this out. He mentioned, about these Bitcoin plays being a little bit oversold. And we saw a little push up. This thing went from 31.50 all the way up to 35. So again, nice push there on Mara as well yesterday. So again, pretty good stuff yesterday. Not the best watch list, not the best pre-market action, but man, at the bell, things did turn out pretty good there. All right, what do we have as far as overview of the market?
Yeah, well, we just had employment data come out, and I'll be frank, I missed it. So, new jobless claims 547 versus 617, so better than expected, and continuing claims came in roughly as expected. Existing home sales 10 a.m. SPY is flat. It's been the futures have been down all morning. It seems to have popped it on that news. So let's see. We're kind of in the heart of earnings season here, or at least getting into the heart of it. We don't have some of the big tech stuff yet, but airlines coming in this week, so should be interesting.
Yeah, it sure will be interesting, guys. Let's get to it. Let's remove what we had yesterday, and on YouTube, someone's asking me how do we find levels, and we'll go over that. I'm not sure if it's your first time here, but if it is, welcome. After we do a couple of things, fine tune our list, we'll do levels, and I'll show you exactly what we're looking for on the daily when we do that. All right, a lot in the green this morning, guys, a little bit in the red. FSR, I'm going to start here. FSR has got to be on our list today. I mean, this thing had a monster day yesterday, and as you mentioned, Norm, they got a downgrade this morning. That's pretty much slammed them down a little bit here,
Yep.
9%. So big drop for them today. We'll put them on the list. They got great volume. Let's see if this thing is going to stick, though, because, again, they did have a nice run up yesterday. Next on our down list, we have EOSLS. So EOLS. There we go. This one is down 18%. Not a great pre-market action. I'm not seeing anything good here. As far as the daily, you could tell it's crappy. They don't get a whole lot of volume. So I'm concerned with having this one on here. Also, a little bit on the lower side, 21.1. So I do like this drop because we could be losing some of the support levels that we have bounced from before, especially this one here, this 1023. It's been a great area of support for this stock. So that could be interesting, but this has to get better. Let's put it as a weak possible for now at best. Let's see if that can hang on and stay there. All right, see what's gapping up this morning. TDC up nicely 30% today. Horrible daily. As you can see here, pre-market action showing us 672,000 shares traded. We do got some movement here. Any good news on this, Nora? I mean, I'm concerned how this is going to trade today because of their daily.
Yeah, they gave some preliminary info for their Q1 numbers, so that's getting them their pop this morning.
Okay. I'm gonna put them again. I don't think they're looking great. I don't think they might not be a good intraday trading stock this morning. We'll see. We'll put it as a possible. We'll come back to it. RNLX, 32 million shares float. This one, I don't like the daily. Look how nasty this daily is. Again, very, very light volume. Even worse than the one we just saw, TDC. This one's not even hitting a million shares traded on any given day here. So that's concerning. I'm going to keep this one off. XM, 24 million. Also not. What's going on here? They put all the bad stuff on the top. This is not looking good neither. XM looking horrible. It's up 15%. That's great. But for intraday trading stock, for what we do, this does not look good at all, guys. So I'm going to skip on down. SKLZ, this one had a good day yesterday. We have many stocks that did have a great day yesterday. Let's add this on the list. Looks good. 13% up this morning. 6 million shares traded. This looks very nice. Any good catalyst on this, Norm? This thing, it looks like it started moving yesterday.
Yeah, Kathy Wood has been in this, and she has added to it yesterday, disclosed that.
Okay, she can definitely make things move as we've seen in the past here. So let's add it on here, guys. Looking really good this morning, up 13% after a huge run-up day yesterday. This thing has been beat up quite a bit, seeing a little bit of some life here. I wonder what the short flow is. No, we do not have a high short interest, only 16 I'm showing here, so not too bad. BNGO this morning, what do we have here? They are up 8.3, 1.2 million shares traded. Pre-market action is okay, not bad actually. Yeah, I think we can add this one here. Possible continuation for today. Envis, you know what? This one doesn't trade well. I've seen this one before plenty of times. I don't keep it on my list. So I'm just going to bypass it today. All right, we got some Bitcoin stuff coming in here. CAN up 7%, excuse me, 7%, up to $14 here. So this is nice, getting a little bit of a bounce. So I like CAN. Let's put that on
they
there.
specifically had news that they had an order, a single customer buying something like 11,000 plus mining units. So that's helping them this morning.
That is definitely helping them big time, guys. Here up 7.3 this morning, and 570,000 shares traded. And as you can see here, we have a beautiful pre-market activity this morning. So yeah, definitely in play. We'll keep an eye on that one. ACTC, no, not looking good. Pre-market action is pretty quiet right now. We'll skip on this one. NKLA, we know we've seen this make some movements before, but haven't really seen anything great out of it. Yesterday, it did move, but again, a lot of stuff moved yesterday that was way better than this. So I'm not going to give it too much credit for yesterday's action. But today, pre-market, again, just this stock could be such a hit or miss. I'm going to keep it off, guys. If you guys see something great in the chat room, throw it back out to me. But I'm gonna keep it off for now. XL, I know this was big a couple of weeks ago. We had a nice little pop here. We took advantage of this play here. You see our levels are still on here. Yesterday I had a good day. Today, pre-market is not looking clean. Possible second day continuation though after yesterday's run. So will be interesting to see what happens here. 407,000, but again, that 407,000 is not trading all that clean. You can see how choppy this is in the pre-market right now. Let's hope that gets better. All right, let's do a couple of more here. We got some good names coming up. CHPT, we know this is a battery company. We've seen some EVs on here. We have Fuel Cell, we have Plug. Who else is on here? All right, so we got a couple of EVs stuff happening here. I do like Plug. I'm going to add Plug to the list. This one is a nice one to trade at times. Let me see if I see anything else. Fuel Cell's got some good action too. Let's add that one as well. We could do some levels for that. Fubo is it's a streaming service, I believe. Not looking all that great today, so we'll skip on that one. And NDM, this one, I know people like this one, but I don't. I mean, Norm, I'm not sure if you ever. I know this comes up a lot.
I've never traded it, man.
Right?
It's always looked like garbage to me.
And people look at this and they trade it well and they do good. I mean, I don't know how they do it. This is why the market is so interesting, guys. I mean, it's just if you find your niche, you're golden. You know, if you find what you're good at, doesn't matter whatever anybody else thinks. If you find what you're good at, you can do well. But man, that's a tough one to be good at, though. I got to say that. AMC this morning getting some love here, up 3.5, 745,000 shares traded. Again, this could be interesting, though. The daily looks nice for a possible breakout. It's just I hate the way these stocks have now become.
I bought some of this too yesterday.
You did. You're on a roll, man.
Nice. So I'll tell you what the deal is here. This one, as we know, this was Wall Street Bets, meme stock stuff, and had high short interest. They were loading into it. squeezing. Short interest dropped when people got out of it. Short interest has started to load back into this, and it's, I believe, 35 to 40% now. Not only that, but it's gotten inventory to shorts gotten a little scarce, and the cost to borrow has gone in the last, and don't quote me on this, but I'm looking for a squeeze on this one. The last, I think it's the last 5 days, it's gone from like mid single digit percentages, 5% to like 25 to 30% in just the course of a few days or a couple or a week or so. So this one is it very well could be ready for a squeeze again.
Yeah, I after hearing those numbers, I fully agree. Going to add them on here as well. AMC is good for us. All right. American Airlines is on here. Okay, now we got some action on the airlines here. 1.2 million shares traded. They are up 3%. I do like this bounce on American Airlines. Let's put it as some main one this morning. We have is this Love is Southwest LUV? Do I have that right?
Southwest and AAL reported this morning.
Oh, they're both reports. Okay, so I'm going to add Southwest here as well to see how that's going to trade. They usually don't get great volume, but they're up nice today, 2.5. Let's see if that turns into anything. All right, we have Save down here as well, not doing a whole lot. Viacom, what's going on with these guys? They're still down here around 40-ish, so $40.
I'm seeing something here that's a little bit curious. A lot of the high-flying names have pulled back, and we're talking some of these, the plugs, a lot of these EV things have pulled back in the last few weeks. We know what happened with that Archegos Capital and having to liquidate.
Yep.
I think some of these are starting to come back because that has essentially unwound. So don't hold me to that, but that's my guess. And I've been looking to get into some of this. Yeah. So on swings, and I'm thinking now might be the time for me to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. They've been beat up so much lately as well. I mean, they're sitting at value, right? So that's a good move there. All right, guys. And if you're interested, guys, on how to swing trade, we do have a book, How to Swing Trade by Brian. Also, make sure you sign up to the channel. And if you are signed up to the subscribe to the channel, make sure you catch his videos every Sunday and Wednesday evening. He puts out a video on possible swing trades that he's looking at. You can also sign up for his swing trading alerts. I'll have Abiel throw the link out for you. You guys can sign up for that. It's completely free. You get a clean email, tells you what he's looking at, what he likes, his positions, his targets, his stops. But again, don't just follow him. Get the book and understand what's going on so you can be knowledgeable about what you are doing and when you make your decisions. So, all right, guys, looking pretty good here. Let's get into our chat room. Let's start with Phoenix. You're giving us NEO, which I have up right now, and it looks interesting. Volume is a little bit light right now, so I'm not going to add it just yet. But I'm going to add it because you know why? We've been talking about NEO being explosive here as it's winding down to a point. You can see the range getting tighter and tighter and tighter. The last couple of days, we had a pop yesterday, but the last couple of days, it's just a very narrow range now. So this could be interesting, especially more towards the upside. Might not happen today, but we got to keep a close eye on it because it can happen at any moment. So we'll keep an eye on that. Then let's head on down. Oops, sorry, switch the screens here. All right, so that's Phoenix gave us that one. Who's next? Did I lose my spot? Yes, I did. Here we go. Blink, BLNK, another one from Phoenix here. They're starting to push up here, but very light on the volume, only 25,000 shares. So we can't watch that just yet. We got to see it get a little better. Jimmy has his watch list here. Let me take one. Actually, all the ones you're looking at, we looked at, except PLTR. So let's take a look at PLTR this morning. This could be a hit or miss. Again, with how choppy this one can be at times, I think today I'll rather watch something else than this one. But again, you know what? It could be the day where it trades well. Let's see. All right, FSR we do have on deck, guys. That one has amazing volume after such a great day yesterday, down quite a bit this morning. NEO is good. We have that on there. So Fabio is giving us a few on here. Let's take a look at mRNA. What is that up to the last couple of days? Pretty quiet right now. So not a whole lot of volume. We'll skip on this one for now.
Tough to trade when it has good order flow.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's looking kind of spotty right now, at least.
It's definitely not looking great. DKNG, and another one that's slightly difficult to trade. I mean, even when it's moving well, right now they're pre-market action. Again, we have things that are so nice right now, guys. If you look at BNGO, looking very nice right now. SKLZ, even this one, which I have never traded, looking really good. FSR is very active. We got a lot going on today. American Airlines is firing up here on all cylinders, so that's good. Fuel cell is taking off here. Man, it's gonna be a good day, guys. It's gonna be a real good day. So we got to be picky. Some of the stuff that doesn't look great right now, although it could be great later, we just have to put it to the side for now. Even AT&T's has a good pre-market action, which doesn't trade very well. They're looking good this morning, up 4.5 with 4 million
You
shares
can have
traded.
it.
Yeah, I won't touch it, but
I'm not
even
picking it for
this,
my team.
yeah, even this is looking decent today, for based on how they trade normally. So they must have some news because again, these guys they are barely moved. So, but again, when this is trading well and you got stuff that's moving so nice elsewhere, you just got to be very very picky. All right, guys, appreciate all the stuff you guys are throwing out here. Unfortunately, we can't get to all of them. Let's look at CCIV. This one, you know what? I'm not a fan of this one, and today I'm not seeing anything that's telling me, put this one on the list. So I'm gonna skip on it. It just doesn't look all that clean pre-market wise. So I'll skip on that one. OCGN was great yesterday. Today, they are still great volume. I don't know. I'm on the fence on it. It could be, maybe. Maybe we could have another good day today. All right, let's take a few over from our chat here, our YouTube chat. We have GRNQ. No, this is more of a penny stock. This is not looking good. So the reason why we don't like this one, guys, is just look at the daily on this. Just, oh wow, it just gets worse as I scroll to the left here. It's not getting any better. This is very, very bad for the way we trade, right? So now if this is your style, go for it, but this is not something that we will be putting on our watch list for the most part. NKLA could squeeze today, I agree.
That is that G Grunk,
GRNQ, yeah.
Gronk, whatever you want to call it. This is a Malaysian conglomerate that decided to get into NFTs.
NFT.
So
we
fungus.
need a fungus emoji in a garbage truck burning. Can somebody do that for us? I'll put it up every time one of these comes up. We'll just flash it. We need a fungus, a garbage can, something burning for stuff like this. Guys, don't touch this. Be very, very careful. I will not be putting that anywhere near my list. NKLA, yes, I think NKLA could be in for a squeeze. I thought we added this one, didn't we? Maybe not. Yeah, daily looks interesting. We can add this one on here. We got quite a lot, so we can go through all of these. Tesla, I'm sure it's good, but I have Neo on here. BA, I don't see anything great on BA. Volume is very light right now. I saw a couple of people throwing out Snap. Let's take a look at Snap today. Volume is light. Again, we've seen Snap have a light volume and then take off, but for the moment, I just again, just comparing it to everything else we have on this list here, I don't see how this can bump anything else off the list right now. PLBY, very light on volume, pretty much flat. So again, not good. Had a bang up day yesterday with light volume though. See, this is not good. This volume here, this 5.3, and you're moving what, $10. If you look at that price action, that's not going to be good. It's just not going to be clean. You're not going to have no order flow here. The spread's probably going to be horrible. It is horrible right now. It's probably not going to get any much better. So although it looks clean now, you're looking at the chart and you say, hey, man, this thing traded very well. How was the spread on this? Can you hold through something like this, right? So I don't know. I have no hopes for that one. All right, what else we have, guys? Cisco.
Not going to trade it, only for the articles.
Say it again. Cisco.
Playboy. No, Playboy.
Oh.
Not going to trade it. I only have it for the articles.
I didn't even know that was that one. Yeah. Why is this thing coming back anyways? Why is this thing even... what's
NFTs.
going on?
Fungus.
For real? Is that what they're doing? Oh, man. That's not good. All right, guys. Oxy, possible continuation play. Yes, Oxy was very good yesterday. Beautiful takeoff, possible continuation play this morning. A little bit light on the volume, and I just got so many here, guys. I don't know if I could watch anymore at the moment. So we'll stop here. I wasn't actually suggesting them in play. I was just responding to Norm's comment. Oh, okay, gotcha. No worries. Sometimes I just go through the comments quickly. If I see a ticker, I just throw it out there, see what we can have. All right, we got some good garbage emojis in our chat room, guys. That's looking pretty good. For those on YouTube, please, if you want to try us out, please check us out. Norman's going to give you the information shortly on how you can join for a trial to try us out for a week.
All right, guys. Peter's trading a single stock webinar is posted next week, 5 p.m. special time Tuesday. We've got Eamon's part 2 on parabolic reversals. So looking forward to seeing that. Peter and Andrew, yes, that's correct. So last night, Nada's webinar, I think it's already posted actually. So ready for your viewing pleasure. Man, our tech team gets faster and faster at getting these up. It used to take 4 days. Now it's up in like 4 seconds. Next week, we've got Town Hall with Dr. Katz, 2 traders from the community, and he will have a conversation. You guys can sit back and watch, ask questions and such. Very interesting format. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade. It should obviously have entries and exits on it, and then put any commentary you can to describe the trade. Post it on Twitter, tagging at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT Family. Day trading and stock market will announce the winner for each day in the closing, on Twitter. And then on Monday, we'll announce the winner from the week that the team has voted on from all the trades of the day that previous week. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, as Carlos mentioned, you can get a discount. Use the promo code PREMARKET24 to get the discount off the intro membership. That is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the chat. Does not auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. Also gives you access to the Monday night onboarding classes that Carlos, Mike, Kyle do every week live, 8 p.m. on Mondays. And then if you're looking to either become an elite member and gain access to all of the content on the site, or if you just want to upgrade, use the promo code SPRING40. That'll get you 40% off the annual elite membership.
All right, excellent. All right, guys, let's get to our list here. So PMAC is asking us, why do we prefer Oxy over MRO? And I think it's just volume. I think they're both great, but Oxy trades very, very clean. I haven't really looked at MRO's action, so I can't tell you if it's better or not, but Oxy does trade very good. This one looks like it had a good day yesterday as well. So you can watch either one. But again, I have experience trading Oxy. So that's the reason why I picked that one over MRO. That could be the only reason, because I have some success with it. That's it. So, all right, let's get to it, guys. Let's chop up this list. Let's start with FSR right now. They are looking very good. Let's remove some of the levels we had yesterday. So FSR, again, down 8% this morning. Great volume. Right now, you're stuck between the highs and lows on the daily, guys. So someone asked earlier, how do we put these daily levels? So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at this daily chart and seeing where we're seeing areas of support and resistance. And the more touches it has, the better it is. Now this one here, you're pretty much stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. So it's not a lot of levels that you're going to mark here around the price action. The only thing I would add today is just the low of the pre-market, right? This 1358. Aside from that, if you look at the rest of the levels around the price action, you're pretty much covered. You don't want to saturate this with a whole lot of levels and make things confusing. Now, if I were to put a level above the previous day close, you see this one right here, this 1589. This is a great area of support. Look how many touches we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So you got 6 and maybe 5.5, right? This is a little bit off, but look how many touches you have on this level. Obviously, this price level here is important for the stock. So now that a great support can now become a good resistance if we do decide to break out this. So that's what we're finding in levels, is simple as that. Just looking at the daily and finding where you have a lot of touch points of support and resistance. So here's a SKLZ. We'll do levels for all of these here, and then we can fine tune it a little bit more, see if there's anything better on the secondary list. So 1924, a little bit higher, is the high of the pre-market for this one. Let's get rid of this here. There we go. So 1924, high of the pre-market, also kind of getting a lot of touches on here as well in this consolidation that we're seeing here. Above that, you do have 2042, another area with a couple of touches here as far as resistance. Towards the bottom, your previous day closes right on there, slightly below the low of the pre-market at 1709. Your previous day closes at 1676. That's a great area. Overall, this whole area here, great area of support and resistance in the past as well. So if we were to lose this, although right now we're looking pretty strong towards the upside, another great level is right on here, guys. Again, great area of support as well, and resistance here around 1585. So I think that's all you need for SKLZ. That's looking pretty good this morning. Very strong, up 13% with 7 million shares traded right now. So here's BNGO. Let's remove, actually, this level looks decent. I'm probably going to keep this one on here. This 642. We do have some touches even in the pre-market already. Let's mark down the high of the pre-market at 671, and then slightly above that, we do have this level right on here. Again, just going off the daily, seeing where you have a lot of touch points. 709, you can see some days opening and closing right around here, some bounces off of this as well. And always remember, guys, these levels are an area. They're not going to be exact every time. Sometimes they are, but you know, if you're off a couple of cents here, that's okay. It's just it's an area. So if you take a trade here at 650 and you get to, you know, I don't know, 659. Don't be stubborn and wait for 7.9 to take a partial. You know, don't be hard headed, don't be greedy. You know this is an area. You might not hit that to the penny at times, so be careful with that type of mentality. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you pretty much covered on BNGO. Let's look at CAN this morning. They are again explosive, guys, up 6.6 right now, and they were down quite a bit. They were down probably 3%, so it's a big run up they have so far going into the green. The high of the pre-market 1486. Above that, we do have another level right on here at 1582, area of resistance, and also some big support here. After a couple of down days, you get a bounce right off of that 1582 right on here, so that's good to see on the daily also. Let's do some more levels towards the top, just in case this thing is going to be run for the day. Here we have 1848. This is a good level because you gotta, again, going back to how many touches you have on here, great area of support before we had a beautiful breakdown a couple of days back here. In between here, we do have another one. Now this level, 1712, is not going to be as strong as 1848. So you do have levels that are stronger than others, right? Obviously, this 1848 is a very good one. You have very, very great touches on here. This one, you only have about 2, right? You got the bottom of this day and maybe the closing of this day here. That's not a whole lot, but you want to have it on here because from 1582 all the way to 1848, that's a big move. You are going to stop somewhere here and take a break, even if you continue or reverse back and go the other way, right? Now towards the bottom, low of the pre-market 1302, and then below that, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, creating some good support here, which we're getting a little bit of a bounce off. Let's see if we're gonna continue here today with some good news they have going on this morning. Here's Plug, guys. Also great day yesterday, looking very good this morning. 855,000 shares traded. 2847 is the high of the pre-market. Above this, let's see here. Oh, good level here, guys. Tons of touches at 3057, so that's good. And then above this, do we have anything else that's clean? Yeah, right over here as well, 3318. So a couple of levels here, guys, because this thing, as Norm mentioned earlier, it could be very explosive today. Towards the bottom, the last 2 trading days and the previous day close are pretty much taking care of you there. Heading down fuel cell, what do we have here? This one is up 5%. High of the pre-market 984. Again, another one for a possible continuation. We have a lot like this today, right? So a lot of these stocks that we're looking at, guys, they've been beat up quite a bit. CAN, Plug, fuel cell. American Airlines not so much, not as much as the other ones. Neo is on here. Neo's been beat up quite a bit. They have a little bit more relief than other stocks, but still, if you look at the bigger picture, they've been slammed down quite a bit here. So let's see if we got a squeeze coming in here. FSR is another one too. So let's see if that's going to be the theme for today. We're going to keep an eye on the SPY, see if the SPY can fuel some of these short squeezes today. Going back to fuel cell, high of the pre-market 984, as I mentioned earlier. Above, we do have a level here at 1109. We don't have anything clean down here besides this moving average at 1015. Maybe we'll mark that down. I don't see anything else that's very clean at the moment around here. Even this 1109, you can see if you're going back over here, look how great that 1109 is playing here. Resistance, some support right on here as well. Again, still nothing pretty clean between that 1109 and that 1015. So we'll keep that as is for now. All right, so that's fuel cell. Towards the bottom, you're pretty much covered. American Airlines, putting in a good pre-market action, guys, 1.5. So they got the volume today. This is exactly what I want to see from American Airlines when they are going to be in play. That great volume. Good day yesterday, like many stocks had. Towards the bottom of the price action, I do like this level here, this 2142. We got a couple of days opening and closing at that 2142, so we'll keep it level there as well. Also this one right on here. Above that, the high of the pre-market 2183, and then here the daily doesn't look clean. This is why we always like a very clean daily, because it helps us find these levels easier. And also, if you have a daily where the levels are all over the place, most likely everybody that's doing the same thing I'm doing now is going to have levels all over the place, and they're not going to be as significant. Now, if you have a level like this one here, everybody's going to have this level, right? This is very clear that 2611 is a level. In here, when you start getting this chop, you know, somebody might put it a little higher, a little lower, and it's not going to be as a strong level as it's going to be this one here. And you tend to get these levels when you have a very clean daily. This is why when we're picking our stocks, and if you have a lot to choose from like today, you want to be a little picky, pick one that has the best daily, good pre-market action, good pre-market activity like this one does here, and also volume. Those three things are key to picking a good stock on your watch list. So I'm going to set this level here. Again, it's not great. Doesn't look too, I got a couple of touches there, but again, it's not the best level, 23.18 above this 22.37 just in case. All right, I think we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one too many. We'll get rid of one later. Our secondary list, we have AMC, TDC starting to leak here. You know, these type of stocks, man, when they drop, they close this gap pretty good. So keep an eye on this one. I don't have it on my main list, but these type of stocks, we've seen them before where they got up like this and they're pretty much not great. Their daily is horrible. Their volume is not great. They could turn to really good short opportunities. Again, I don't want to be short biased on this. I don't want you to be short biased neither, but just be on the lookout, man. They can turn pretty nice. High of the pre-market, 54.10, 15 to be exact, 49.53 is the low of the pre-market. You got some levels here. Again, look at this daily, right? Where do you put your levels? It's just, you got one here, we know that, but then after that, it's just all choppy. But this could be interesting. Good volume, up nicely. Is it going to close this gap today? EOLS, let's get rid of this. This doesn't look good still, even now. XL bouncing here, getting a little bit of a pop. You know, this could be great. Let's keep it here. Love, I'm going to take off. I do like American Airlines a little bit better today. NEO is good. Let's keep that on there. PLTR. Let's get rid of PLTR. OCGN, I'm going to get rid of this too. We don't have shares for sure. It's looking rather weak, although it's up. It's looking a little bit weak right now. So let's get rid of it. Great volume, but still, we need to fine tune this list. NKLA could squeeze today. I'm going to keep it on here. High of the pre-market, 11.14. How are we doing on time? 9:06. 11.14. Another level right up here at 11.40, 11.84. So we'll see. This is a good possible. It can squeeze today. Again, another stock that has been really battered here. So we'll see. All right, good list. Let's see what our moderators have this morning. Let's take a look here and we'll bring this over. Let me resize this so it can fit on the screen and you guys can see what's going on so far. All right, excellent. So bring this over here. And here is what we have, guys. So starting with Thor, he's looking at SKLZ, CCL, Plug, NEO, and American Airlines. Peter, so a few IPOs for today. NPCE, ZY, KNBE. Dima, she's looking at SKLZ, Plug, Fuel Cell, and CAN. Peter's watch list, SKLZ, American Airlines, CAN. Secondary list, FSR, AT&T, which is T there, NEO, Plug, and AMD, of course, for Peter this morning. So excellent. Oh, here comes Brian with his list. And Brian is looking at SKLZ, Plug, American Airlines, and TDC as well. Guys, for those that don't know, this is what our chat room looks like. I'll show you that now. I have the video off because what I'm showing here is basically what you guys are seeing. So it'll just be a duplicate of what you're getting now, right? But this is where people share their screen. We also have scanners. You can look at scanners the entire day from Trade Ideas. We open the room at 7:30 in the morning. So if you're on YouTube, you want to get some scanners, you can do that as well. And then here's our team. Everybody say hi to our friends over at YouTube. There's Megan, contributor badge. That means she's always helping out. We appreciate that very much. Shout outs to all our contributors in the community. And we have a support tab right on here as well. So you can come in here. You have questions. You got Abia, who's always killing it. Dima, she's on here also making some noise. Again, answering any questions you might have live right in the chat room. So again, give it a shot, guys. If you're trading, it's not good to trade alone. It's great to be part of a community. It doesn't have to be this one, but give us a shot. If you're hanging around on YouTube, you definitely probably like what we're doing. So you're going to love the chat room. I guarantee you that. All right, guys, that is what we have. I think we're pretty much set. I think it's going to be an interesting day. I like what I'm seeing now. Let's look at the SPY and see what's happening there. SPY is looking very good this morning. Pretty much flat right now, but looks like it wants to break out here. Let's see. Can we make a new high today? That would be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. Such an explosive day yesterday. This market is just unbelievable. So, all right, excellent. 9:10. We're a little bit early. Anybody has any questions? Anything that we can answer? While we wait, make sure you guys on YouTube take a second just to hit that thumbs up. We highly, highly appreciate that. Is it chat text only, or do you have audio as well? Oh yeah, audio. Oh yeah, we have audio as well. And after I'm done, you're gonna have Brian is up next, Andrew's up next. They trade live with their screens, and then from there, depending on what day of the week, we have Norm, we have John. I mean, all the moderators throughout the entire day are coming on the mic. So it's definitely a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot. You'll definitely learn a whole bunch. Yes, Jeff as well. Yep, 100%. What is my number one pick for today? I like a few. I like Plug. I really like the way Plug trades. I like their pre-market activity right now. CAN looks very good. Getting a bit of a pullback here. I like that one. So we got some good ones today. Norm, what is your number one today, or number two that you like so far this morning?
I'm done.
You're done.
Yeah, I was trading Plug this morning.
See, this is what happens when Norm turns off that camera. He doesn't go away. He turns off that camera. He's just focusing. Okay, what a trade I'm going to take now. And you're becoming like the pre-market king, man.
No, none of that. But I like Plug. I want to see what happens with FSR. Even though I'm already out of it, it'll be interesting. AMC might be interesting. I don't usually trade those, but it could be. Yeah, so a few of them there. Somebody's asking about boot camp, and it's not BBT boot camp. It's our other company. It's Peak Capital Trading, PCT boot camp. You can go to peakcapitaltrading.com and check that out. It's essentially a 14-week program focused on small group mentorship and building a trade book, and it's just kind of an intense education. Next boot camp starts on May 3rd, so we're coming up on it just after the beginning of the month. And registration's open. You can go over there, like I said, peakcapitaltrading.com. Check it out.
Definitely check it out, guys. Some good information there. So our question, are we more short bias or long bias? You know what? I take a short trade in a long trade the same, but I do have to say my shorts seem to be bigger winners. I don't know why. I got to get into the details of that, but I'm not really short bias or long bias. How about you, Norm?
I would say I'm long biased to the degree I take more long trades.
Okay.
Percentage wise than I do short trades. But everybody here is a little bit different. Peter's more short bias than I am. More on the short bias. So
yeah, I'll tell you this much: I'm definitely short bias in this TDC, losing this level here and gapping down, closing this gap. So I'll be looking out for that one. But this could be a very tough trade because you can see here the spread is not great, and this thing can move quite a bit. So if I do take something short, here, it's going to be on some really light shares. So. We'll be on the lookout for that. Yesterday I traded a couple yesterday. Amara was one of them. Thanks to Jared. This was the big winner yesterday. So Jared called this out as a possible early on. The whole Bitcoin stuff, he called that out. So that was my big trade yesterday that I traded. All right, guys, 9:13. Let's see if any more moderators are showing their lists. And if not, we are going to shut it down and get ready for the market open. Carlos, how often you talk about the spread? Do you use very tight stops? No, I don't use very tight stops, but the spread is important when you get in the trade, right? If you're getting in a trade, the spread is 50 cents. You take 1,000 shares, 500 shares, you're really behind the 8 ball quite a bit, and now that stock has to move that entire spread for you just to break even. I don't like that. I don't like to be behind that much, right? Especially if I'm taking partials pretty fast. So that's the deal with that. Also, here's the other thing. Aside from a tight stop on the spread, it's the price action. If the spread is really bad, the price action is going to suck. It's not going to be fluid. It's not going to be clean. If you look at an Apple,
most of the time,
yeah, most of the time, right? Not always, but most of the time. If you look at an Apple, you look at these stocks that have a really nice tight spread, it doesn't have to be 1 cent every time. It could be 5 cents. When I say bad spread, I'm talking about a 20-cent stock that has a 50-cent spread, right? That's horrible. You don't want that. I've taken trades where it has 10 cents spreads, no problem, depending on the price, right? But for the most part, you just got to be careful of that spread before you get into a trade.
So but I'm going to answer one thing because there have been multiple questions on it, but about pre-market trading. And I frankly, I don't pre-market trade that often. It's difficult to do this show, answer questions, talk to you, do a market recap at the same time I'm trading. But really, it's not that much different. The stuff that I trade pre-market, it's not that much different than trading during market hours because I'm making sure that there's plenty of volume, plenty of order flow, good price action, everything else. That's the most important thing. Other than that, it's relatively the same. The only thing I would say that's a little bit different, you really got to mind your stops and you got to watch out because there is less volume pre-market, except in very rare circumstances. So if it starts to go against you, I'm always looking at that level 2. It's not as full. There aren't as many people out there on the bid or the ask. And so if I'm long in something and it starts going down, a lot of times you'll see those bids come away, and that's not volume down there. That's not liquidity that's going to soak up shares. If somebody wants to dump, you can get dumped on. So you just got to be careful.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, 9:15. We're gonna shut it down here for
and
YouTube.
You also can't. Yeah. That is true. Chris also mentioned you can't. Stops don't work, so you can only use mental stops.
Oh, in the pre-market, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no halts neither. There's no halts neither. So you could be in a messy situation depending on how things go. So, guys, take care over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. We appreciate you guys being with us this morning. We will see you guys tomorrow. Tonight is Thor's mentorship, right? Thursday? Yes. So definitely do not miss that, 8 p.m. in the webinar room tonight. So take care, guys. Trade safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.